Bubba, on a sad note, wow, over the weekend we got to, you hate when you just get things that are just so difficult, and really I'd have to use the word shocking.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if you go back to Rick and Bubba University, the podcast, you'll see that we interviewed Christopher Sine, and I don't remember which one it was. It's been
pretty early on.
Yeah, it's been a while ago, but you can find it if you go to if you follow the Rick and Bubba University podcast, either on our YouTube channel or just wherever you get podcasts. You can get the audio wherever you get podcasts. If you want to watch that interview, it's go to rickandbubba.com, click on the YouTube channel, hit the playlist, and you'll see the playlist that features all of the Rick and Bubba University podcast. But you know the
podcast 21, Rick.
Podcast 21. Okay, so when you look at the national slant on this, and this one's bigger than just, hey, this is some guy that Rick and Bubba knew. He is has been the evening anchor on the same ABC affiliate that Span works for in Alabama, ABC 3340. But he also has wrote a book about Bill Clinton and the Secret on the Tarmac. The name of the book, which if you look at how many people watched our podcast with him, because this is all that. The tarmac thing where Clinton was claiming he was just talking about grandkids, and he was a reporter where this took place at the time. He did this book, so that has spawned some of this Clinton darkness. Now, I don't know that has anything to do with this, but anytime somebody has written a piece about the Clintons that reveals that side of the Clintons that we all know about, but we don't seem to do anything about. There is a history of people who commit suicide. I'm putting quotes around that and disappear or have issues. Now, I'm not drawing that line, but I'm just telling you nationally that some of that's kicking around.
Yeah, Rick. It looks like it's one of the lead stories on the New York Post today. So, Christopher Sine, 45. He was found dead by Hoover police around 8:13 a.m. on Saturday morning. They received a call of a person down in his neighborhood. He also, Rick, other than hosting the evening news on our local ABC affiliate, he had 3 sons and his wife. He met at the University of Alabama. He played football there, and his wife was an all-SEC volleyball player, according to their bios. And so, we knew Christopher. We were not running buddies or anything, but, you never know about these kind of things. I hate it. It was very disturbing, and I know that it's very shaking for the folks that work close with him every day. James Spann, one of them.
Yep.
But the times I had been around him, very outgoing, very upbeat guy. I was very shocked when I heard this. But again, I don't know him on a personal level.
Yeah, right.
We've done some promos together. We did the podcast together. We talked about, ways that we could work together on some other things. But he just seemed like he was hitting his stride, man. He was 45 years old. He'd moved back to, where he grew up. He had the ultimate job at the TV station, the anchor guy at 5 o'clock. It just seems strange because the times I have been around him, he's always been very upbeat. But now, again, I know when you deal with certain issues that I'm not the expert in that, but it just hit everybody very, very hard this weekend because it just seemed so strange.
Yeah, it did. But I have been in, sadly, situations of people that I knew at different levels who also have taken their own life, and this appears they're investigating this as a suicide now. So if something changes, we'll certainly change that narrative. But and I can tell you, there's times that I knew the person well enough that it didn't surprise me. There were times that I knew the person well enough that I was completely surprised by it. And then there's been some like this that I don't know Christopher Sine. Like Bubba said, I met him the day that he came in to do the podcast, and I think maybe we've shot a promo or two that I saw him too. So I certainly may be people that when this came out that know him extremely well that are not surprised that knew that he was struggling. Because I got news for you. I can walk through that door even with the guys that I know here, and I can put on the face here, and you'd never know I was struggling with anything. I do have the ability to do that, and it helps me to do the show and be a pro. But it also would help me mask it, and you would never know. So unless you spend a lot of time with somebody, people can fake it for any short given period of time. I know some people think, well, if I was almost to the point that I was, in that kind of depression, I think everybody would know it. No, not people that only see you for a period of time, because I know that I could do it. I mean, y'all wouldn't know it if I didn't want you to know. You wouldn't know. And so but there's people that probably know him better than us. That if they're surprised, then But sometimes even the people closest to you don't know. And I've seen that. I mean, I've had a couple of these things in my life that I'm telling you, I could not believe it when I got the call. Could not believe it. So I don't know.
It was very. I don't even know the word for it. Very haunting, very strange. James Spann does videos behind the scene and kind of after the show sometimes when they get off the air, and he covers a lot of things, plays music, and James is just having fun. He's talking about things that are going on. He likes providing a lot of content. And the one Friday night, had Christopher on there. He came by, made some comments, was talking about the Loverboy album.
I saw that.
And as James had even put in his post, 8 hours later, he's dead. It was very strange.
It was eerie to watch that James.
Eerie is a good word.
You put out, because, you think about, okay, right now, what is he thinking about? Is it
right.
was something? Of course, we all know we have a biblical worldview. This comes from a darkness that convinces you that everybody is better off without you. And just listen, if you're out there, there's no lie bigger than everybody would be better off without you. Your children, your wife, your family, your friends, they're not better off without you.
No.
They really aren't. I guess the best one that I heard one time was my pastor when we had this happen at our church with someone who had that sense. And he said, all he was trying to do was not make a mess, but all he did was make a mess. So
well, I just hate it for his wife and family.
Yep. Bottom of the hour. We'll be right back.
Rick and Bubba.
So the Christopher Sign story, we've kind of given you the way it is being presented locally. But, boy, the guys said in the break, and they were right, the way it's being presented nationally because of the tie to Clinton. And if you go back and listen to our interview with him on Rick and Bubba University podcast number 21.
Rick, we covered this.
We covered this very thing.
We covered this with him.
Yeah, so read the creepy thing that you read, because I remember him saying this, but we're all being reminded now. And, again, we're not saying that we are into any or believe any of this stuff that has anything to do with it, but we are going to say here are the facts of the life of Christopher Sign, which does include him writing this book.
Yeah. Now, Rick, he broke the story of Bill Clinton meeting, at the time, Attorney General Loretta Lynch on the tarmac in New York, and this is when they were deciding if they were going to prosecute Hillary or not over the server thing.
Correct.
And they made it out to be that it was accidental, and they just talked about grandkids and all that. But clearly it was not. And he reported that they had met. Then he wrote this book called Secret on the Tarmac. He went on a tour promoting it, which that's why we had him on the podcast. He was on Fox and Friends in February 2020, ahead of the book's release. He said it was a planned meeting. It was not a coincidence. Sign went on to tell Fox that the investigation made his life a living hell, with his family receiving death threats. My family received significant death threats shortly after breaking the story, he said. Credit cards were hacked. My children, we all have code words. We have secret code words that they know what to do. And he covered that on the podcast with us. And it just, I don't know. It's like I say, locally, there's a lot of outpouring for his family. Nationally, of course, the Clinton angle is going to get a lot of headlines.
It is, and so who knows? Maybe people will come out that know him and say, "Look, I can tell you, what was going on." And frankly, that's I guess the way that could help, I guess, is to settle some of this. But this is between this wife, her children, and their family. Honestly, at the end of it all, I don't know how to break it to everybody. It's really none of our business. As far as what's going on in their personal lives, but this part does make it, there's a national angle that we can't get around,
Right.
Because it is out there.
Do we have the part of him talking about that, Adler? Can we actually hear him talking about it? Because I'm losing my voice.
Yeah, I noticed that started in there in the kitchen.
It did. It just started.
Were you fine till you got here?
I guess, yeah, I think so.
Were you? Yeah. Well, the reason why I say that sometimes.
Well, I think it's just general stress.
I know sometimes when I get here, I don't know what it is. I'll walk in the door, and the minute I walk in, I do a sneezing fit, and I'm like, is there something? What are we breathing here?
Yeah, really.
So anyway, but
He's working on queuing that up.
okay, yeah. So yeah, it was it was one of those things when you heard about it over the weekend, you just didn't.
I mean, I think we were even joking with him about, we were people who broke these stories on the Clinton. A lot of them seem extremely depressed.
I think Adler said he's already seen it. I think we said that twice.
Yeah, I think we covered it,
and possibly 3 times. But I know we said it twice, and he seemed a little unaware of that. But he couldn't have been after he said all these things were going on with him. I mean, he was talking about all the.
Did he say he was unaware of that, or he just didn't know any of these people that had happened to, or something? I can't remember because, like I say, it's been 70, 80 podcasts.
Correct. Ago. So I don't really know, but I was reading what Adler had written to us, and I was like, he seemed to not know that those things had happened. And again, we're not saying that has anything to do with this, but
it is going to be part of the national media.
Angle. But it's going to be part of it. It already is. Yeah. I mean, it's not.
It's on the New York Post today.
Right.
I mean, that's.
Yeah. Here's what Adler said. He said, you guys asked him if he had seen a list of the people that had made the Clintons mad, pointing to the list of people that had died, and he said no. In the podcast. So,
I did not get a chance to screen it. I'm gonna go back and watch it today.
It's it's eerie, when you see that, and like I say, you just I'm afraid this falls under the deal of how you never know.
Oh, I know.
All right, he's ready now.
But you see that, you think, man, I should give him a hug or something.
Law enforcement is notified.
Have you ever seen the list of people that tried to make the Clintons look bad?
No.
You don't want to.
It's not a good record. It's really
I don't
not.
know.
Just kind of stay out of that. Yeah.
I think we had another one last week.
You might want to ask Jay about it.
Yeah. But I'm just trying to have fun and be a dad, and
that's right.
And I've been in a lot of green rooms lately, and I got to tell you, I've never been in a green room like yours, where I walk in and there's this big Texas cinnamon roll.
There you go. See, we're always taking care of people.
Yeah, they surely are.
Yeah. So that's an eerie podcast today.
Wow.
I know.
We might need that clip later today.
Yeah, it's
wow.
Yeah, there we are.
That's disturbing, isn't it?
We're yucking it up, aren't we?
You just never know, Rick. You never know.
Well, it goes back to that thing again too. Just like Span when he put out, he goes, I'm sitting here doing the news with him on Friday night, and
I know. Talking about Loverboy, he's giving you the Loverboy album cover.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
it's just.
And I know that we all of us in the break stay caught up with family and friends and stuff, or you get a text. You try, and the best you can. But I noticed on that Instagram thing, he's really he's really texting a lot over there in the background before Span.
Well, I mean, everybody does now.
Yeah, but they usually don't die 8 hours later. But it's
you wonder what that's about.
Yeah, I mean,
you can't help but wonder.
Span does that every night, so
right, sure.
You're not going to get really caught up in it because it's so common, I would think.
Yeah. Oh no. I'm just saying that when I can when someone can no, not Span. I'm talking. But if somebody is documenting and has
I got you.
Has recorded me 8 hours before I take my own life, probably the text I'm sending in that particular situation probably different than the ones I normally send. Yeah. I would think.
Yeah.
And maybe not. Maybe they're not. Maybe there's no difference at all. But I mean, if I was, I'd be interested to see them. Yeah. Even though it's not my business, but I'm just talking about.
If you were investigating.
Yeah, if I would be like, if I have a recording,
the first thing I look at
if I have a recording of him over his phone going back and forth while Span's goofing around on his Instagram feed,
right?
I think, well, since those texts are being sent a few hours before he takes his own life, those are probably of more interest than say one that some he were doing like he was doing that when we were interviewing him on podcast 21.
Right.
See right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Rick and Bubba.
really in there.
There's a lot of questions.
Yeah. Yeah, there are.
Good-looking guy, 45, family.
We'll be
doing
back.
a dream job.
Yep.
I don't know.
We'll take your
Strange.
phone calls next at 866-WE-BE-BIG. More Rick and Bubba coming up.
Rick and Bubba, Rick and Bubba.